It's a beautiful Friday, isn't it? Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Central. It's a delight to have you join us this morning on the show. If you can't go to the UK, we'll bring the UK to Nigeria.
Okay.
Then we can retrench because I'm in holiday mode.
I see what you're doing.
I'm
and the weather is...
Yeah, it's quite cold.
It's quite cold, isn't it? Yeah. And you know the young man that said, I'm excited, it's already weekend. He was actually at the TICAD in Yokohama yesterday.
That should be Patoranking.
And he met the Prime Minister of Japan and went on tour. It was really, really nice. He's a United Nations, he's a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador.
Right.
So in that capacity, that's why he was there. And I was reading the comments and somebody said, the biggest star since Bob Marley. You know, he's Nigerian, and for him to speak Patois, is quite impressive. I met a Jamaican that said, wow, that he could swear that Patoranking was Jamaican. So, I mean, let's celebrate.
Shout out to Patoranking. Thank you for giving us...
to the world.
Exactly, and you've given us an anthem for Friday, an anthem that says, I'm so excited, it's already the weekend. My name is Olive, MOD, and you're welcome to Breakfast Central.
And I'm Gbenga. Sit back, relax. We have a lot in store for you. We don't slow down here on Breakfast Central. Yesterday was New Central's Town Hall, another successful one. It was packed to the rafters. We'll bring you details of that and so many other things happening in the country. So sit back, relax, and
enjoy yourself.
Breakfast Central.
Well, we're starting on some sort of a damp mood as we talk about the New Central Town Hall. Now, it's important for us here at New Central to be in the story. Amplifying the voices of the people is what we do. We go where the story takes us, and we've done that again. This time around, we went to Jos. We had stakeholders and people who have been unfortunately affected by the challenges of insecurity in the Middle East, and they came, sorry, why did I say Middle Eastern? It's Middle Belt, and they came to share their experiences. We'll take a look at some videos and then we'll come back here to talk about it. Let's take a look.
The issue has not been identified. We are suffering from what we call Sharia. I happened to serve in Sokoto State 2005 and have been in Sokoto as a community developer. Sharia is about injustice. Sharia is not peace. And that is what we are suffering of here. You cannot tell me that a child is born, is not raised by his parent, he doesn't feel any parental upbringing. The child is abandoned on the street, scavenging, and he become matured, and expecting to see a fellow child like him, decent, and you tell him that all is well.
I am Barrister John Apollos Maton, Secretary to the Ronkulere Justice and Environs, member of BCDF Vanguard, and you know, I would say a passionate advocate for the rights of indigents in Plateau State and across the nation. I would first want to say that the conception of the program was a nice one, but my first criticism is that if this really is a gathering for Middle Belt groups, right? Middle Belt groups only should have been invited here, right? If you want a dialogue with the victims and their aggressors, then you have a type of setting that you have here. I would also want to say that I had hoped that I would hear the security agency start with an apology for the incompetence we've seen so far, right? Any adult would know that if his child brings a report card and it's below 50% performance, that person has failed. The security agencies have failed. And we were owed an apology here, which we did not get. As to solutions, I really have not heard a lot of solutions, you know, seated here. A few came close. But then first off, I would say we need to state the problem for what it is. Nigeria is currently being invaded by the Fulani.
I mean, there's more where that came from. You can check our YouTube channel, New Central TV on YouTube, to hear the first-hand experiences of citizens in Jos, in Plateau State, as well as, I mean, it wasn't just limited to Plateau State. Yes, it happened in Plateau, in Jos, but it was the Middle Belt. So they were talking about insecurity in the Middle Belt and different stakeholders. I mean, I watched a clip of Prophet Issa, who's spiritual leader and came there, spoke so passionately about what needs to be done, talked about the herdsmen, talked about that label, the label of Fulani herdsmen, talked about Fulani people holding their leaders to account so that this narrative, they don't have to keep reliving this narrative.
Exactly.
I mean, there were different people. There were also those who said they expected some form of apology from security operatives because they laid a huge chunk of the blame on the fact that they believe security operatives failed them.
But it's good that the security operatives were there. All the stakeholders involved in this, in all of this, were present in the town hall meeting, and they all had their say. So kudos to the management of New Central for bringing this together. I mean, it's one, they say half a problem is solved when you talk about it, and these conversations are very hard to have sometimes. Hopefully, it would be the beginning of good tidings that will come to the Middle Belt.
I mean, when you hear some of the stories from the Middle Belt, people who have had to lose their loved ones in this insecurity struggle, they are the most heartbreaking stories. But one thing that was very important as well was one of the speakers who's a news editor, and he talked about the role that the media has to play. And the role that the media has to play is in telling the story, but not just telling the story in a watered-down version, accurately telling the story. So you go there and you find out how many people have died. You need to report it as is. He talked about from his own personal experience how a certain time there was a report about the number of people that were killed, and that when he went there and did a personal verification that in fact in one person's grave, he saw about 20 bodies. So
terrible.
We don't hear about it as much typically, which is why what we're doing here at New Central is very important, to tell the story as is, because the only way to treat a problem is to actually expose the wound. You can't cover it, you can't sugarcoat it, you can't downplay it to make it look palatable to the audience. People need to know that we're sitting on the keg of, sitting on the ticking time bomb, but that if we do not do something about insecurity, insecurity will do something about us. And
it's very important to have this sort of conversations, because it's not, oftentimes people think the solution to insecurity is just, it's a military solution. You deploy soldiers, police, the armed forces, and they kill these bandits or the people that are causing trouble. But it's beyond that. You also need to look at the bigger picture, and that's what the gentleman was saying about recruitment, about people growing up without parental care. Society needs to do better for those in the lower rung of society, those orphan children, those adults that have nothing to do, no hope, no job prospects whatsoever. And like they say, the idle mind is the devil's playground. So let's take a holistic look at it. Great thing we're already talking about it. And from here, we can build up and hopefully see solutions. Yes. All right.
Let's move now from the story about insecurity to maybe another version of insecurity. Because tell me why security personnel are carrying weapons to arrest students because they defied a sign-out ban. A quick backstory. Students in UNIZIK have been banned from the typical sign-out ceremony that simplifies the graduation of students. You can see the internal memo there. It says, ban on final year students' involvement in final examinations orchestration, e.g., aka signing off. The university management wishes to inform you that effective immediately, all forms of orchestration, that is signing off, related to final examinations by final year students are completely and indefinitely banned from the university premises. This decision is in response to recurring incidents of chaos, violence, and disruption of normal university activities associated with these events. Furthermore, the university has been concerned about the presence of unauthorized individuals on campus, posing a threat to the safety and security of students, staff, and the broader university community. In fulfillment of its obligation to maintain order, protect life, and safeguard property within the university, management has taken this decision, a decisive step to ban all such activities, deeming them unacceptable. Any student found to be involved in or participating in any form of orchestration, that is signing off, or related activities risks severe disciplinary measures, including but not limited to rustication. Furthermore, any outsiders who enters university premises in furtherance of such activities risks arrest and prosecution for disorderly conduct, causing a breach of peace. The university management is committed to providing a safe and secure environment. Can we please scroll up a little to the date? Today is the 22nd of August. Scroll up on this article. Let's see the date.
19th.
It's on the 19th of August. I'm checking off the article. Yes, great. You can see there on the right, internal memorandum from registrar, date 19th August 2025. So, the university put out this memo on the 19th of August 2025, and in under 24 to 40, let me put it at 48 hours because we saw the video yesterday, arrests had been made in the most, again, undignifiable manner. Let's take a look at this video. The most, again, despicable way to carry out an arrest.
There's a reason why the universities are called universities, and they're called ivory towers, because you expect the best conduct of human beings there. It's a secure environment, it's universal. That's why you have university visiting professors from different parts of the world. You do research. It's the embodiment of human knowledge and sophistication. That's why you're not supposed to walk on lawns in university environments. They produce, that's the hallmark of academic excellence. So you expect a certain level of conduct from university management and students. If you've given a circular, I mean, this is not, if you've given a circular, and exactly, and students have fallen foul of it, there are ways of addressing them. And from that video, I think they were just signing on shirts. I don't think there was any loud music or noise. And then why do you bring arms to a lecture theater? Like, what are you doing with pump action rifles for something so civil?
Right.
I mean, I really can't wrap my head around it. And you expect higher conduct and better conduct from people in the university environment. This is just, it's so shameful. Imagine those kids would be traumatized for this experience. Everything be force.
Okay, so I'm going to look at this from different standpoints and different angles. I'm going to look at it all from the perspective of the responsibility of the university, the students, as well as the security personnel. For decades, the signing out ceremony in universities have been a rite of passage for Nigerian students. It almost symbolizes the end of an era, ushering you into another era, having gone through Nigeria's university system 5 years. Some courses that are typically 4 or 5 years, some people end up staying 6 years in university, not because they failed, but because of the incessant strikes and the difficulties, that plague going through the Nigerian university system. So that definitely deserves some sort of celebration. For a number of them, it's not just an activity, it's an emotional rite of passage. Finally. It just reminds me of, for example, the day when I was with my colleagues and we were getting called to bar. The moment when they said, you may now wear your wig, there were a number of us that burst into tears because it just sort of takes you back to the journey, how long it took you to get
nights
there.
Of burning,
the nights of burning the midnight oil, the struggles and difficulties you had to go through to get in there. So I say this to say that our goal should not be always to take away the little things that give students joy. Going through Nigerian educational system does not have to be chaotic. It doesn't have to be one that is so filled with wickedness. The other day we saw a video of students whose slippers were cut because they said they did not dress appropriately. There are more civil ways. We're not in a banana republic. There are more civil ways to handle situations or infractions, as you may refer to them. That being said, there could have been alternatives. I understand the university's position of saying that they're doing this for the best of reasons. They want to protect lives and
celebrations could be modest and measured.
It can be measured. There are several ways that they could have gone about it. One, to prevent external people from coming into the school, the university security officials should have ensured, show your ID card for the whole of the week. Show your ID card before you get into school. There's security at the university for a reason. Two, this could have been done in collaboration with the university. Have designated areas, have car parks, have halls. Signing out ceremony is not unique to UNIZIK. It happens all around the world. We had signing out universities. It's one of the most exciting parts, looking to that final day. So this could have been done in line with the university. That being said, when the university put out the circular, did it give them enough time to be able to adapt to this? You can't be putting out a circular on the 19th of August, and by 21st of August, we're seeing social media full of videos of arrest. They could have been given enough time, to allow that sink in, because for a number of them, that is the one thing they've been looking forward to, and you've taken it away from them. So did you give them enough time to take in this instruction? Okay, now they flouted this rule. What better ways could we have ensured that they were punished? That was the least desirable way. And it's unfortunate that Anambra is trending again for the wrong reason. A few days ago, we saw the video that went viral from what happened on the 23rd of July with the NYC corps member who was abused, physically assaulted in the way that she was handled by Agune Chamber. And yes, they've been fired. Yes, that has garnered the attention of the world, and the governor has spoken about it. This, again, is another repeat incident. Maybe this highlights a broader issue that we need to look into, the abuse of power that abounds there. The fact that it is the most vulnerable. Shame on the security agencies. Shame on the men.
Shame on the leadership of the university community.
Shame on them for thinking, those people who carry guns, to arrest 2 unarmed women. Shame on you for not fighting insecurity in Anambra State. Shame on you for not going into the forest, into the the streets and looking for those people who have perpetrated insecurity in the form of kidnapping and the likes. But this is now here your power reach. Shame. That's all I have to say. And the university needs to take responsibility for how they have handled this. They are better ways. Look at that.
On their premises, under their watch.
Imagine that firearm was mistakenly fired. They will say it's accidental.
The university management can't claim ignorance with this, and we'll continue to follow up with the story.
Anyway, Nigerians have, of course, been speaking about this. Let's go on X and see the tweets in this regard. Christ Reign says, very unreasonable practice among graduates who are not sure if getting a job years after graduation. Why we know they think in this country? I don't know. You don't mean it. Mike Onyekaba says, how can a tertiary institution threaten its students with guns in the name of enforcing a ban on signing out for final year students? The Vice Chancellor of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, UNIZIK, should be ashamed of himself. To be honest, it's not even about the Vice Chancellor.
I mean, it's under his watch, everything that happens in the university. Well, sometimes it takes the buck.
Sometimes a number of these people do these things without. Well, I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from.
So
Spike says they might have a valid reason. Do you see the chaos in schools when people sign out? People are even injured. Also, there could be a security breach in schools during this period. In my time, we just signed off quietly and went to face life. Exactly.
Like Olive said earlier, there are measured ways of doing these things. The university authority could have asked for IDs before you get into the campus. No loud music, no noise. You give them a time frame to do what they need to do. Everything doesn't have to be militarized.
This is more like UNIZIK security is more interested in flexing authority than actually enforcing rules. And I quite agree with
why do we have this problem?
It's a power corrupt, absolute power corrupt, absolutely. UNIZIK just they humiliate students anyhow. Even boy when we wear white and black, save them, carry them. Wow. Anyway, do we have more tweets? All right, that will be the last one. Right? So again, like we say, everyone has a responsibility. Also, not taking away the students. Students have a responsibility. If there's been a circular and a memo put out saying you should not do this, you cannot do this, a better way to have gone about it, you have representatives in the Students' Representative Council, the SUG president, you have people. You should have communicated with them to have meetings with the university so that they can lobby and find a way. Exactly, departmental heads, so you can have a meeting and figure out a way to go around it if it's that important. The Students' Union Government, the Students' Representative Council, they're there to represent the needs of the students. They're not just there to be because they get paid for it. They're not just there to be collecting allowance.
And then we also need to know that these students are oftentimes, they treat them like kids. These are young adults. This is a university environment. So I don't understand why, okay, you said people shouldn't wear slippers.
Then they wore slippers and then you cut all their slippers.
In the university environment.
Are we 2 years
I've seen videos of university students kneeling down, serving punishment, and then this one, it's quite unfortunate.
Or the videos of the ones that they'll tell you they want to cut your hair because you're not wearing the appropriate, the kind of things that we hear, we need to please leave that behind. It's a thing in Nigerian universities. Anyone who went to a Nigerian university knows that there's this flex, this power flex that we like to show off. the HODs, especially I forgot what they call them, those ones that have to do the admin work. The admin staff at university are the worst. When you go there and tell them, the non-academic staff, you now go there and tell them, please, they say, can't you see I'm busy? What are they busy doing? Breaking groundnuts and eating groundnuts.
It's really unfair.
Go and come back later.
And it's not just Nigerian university community, civil service across the nation. And that's why Mr. Akatugba said, look, we need to reflect and do better as a people. There's a critical mass of Nigerians that are just, you need to change. You can't want good from bad. You need to change and reflect that change
from the ground
you
up.
desire from within.
Yes. Yeah. All right, let's move away from that story to our third and final story. Yesterday, we talked about TICAD 9 as our delegates were gathered from all around the world, and we had the Nigerian delegates as well in Tokyo, Japan. And the president had given a speech and made mention of a few things. But one thing that stood out that went viral was the boots. So if we have the picture of the unmanned boot from the day before, the one that sparked up the reaction, we can put that up. All right, so we had an empty booth, and this empty booth caused a bit of an issue because somebody who was there put out the tweet and he shared exactly what the situation was. He talked about, unfortunately, the booth being unstaffed and it was unmanned by the Nigerian public sector team. But he and Dr. Ola Brown were now the ones. His name is Idris Ayodeji Bello.
Yeah.
He and Dr. Ola Brown were the ones who then manned the booth and they put it out there.
Patriotic
Nigerians. Yeah. And then it caused a huge reaction. Part of the reaction would be the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Exactly. They said, look, the TICAD 9 has not been officially opened. The booth has not been officially launched. Because every other person had their booth set up.
Because we saw the brochure, the program. I did see a PDF of the program that said it launched on the day that booth was empty. So the statement by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs was wrong.
Then from the presidency, they said we're not there for optics. It's not there for.
And then when they decided to inaugurate the booth, look at what we got.
A very lovely inauguration. So that picture that you've seen, this is the inauguration of the booth. We have people there. This is from yesterday. The booth has finally been manned, and you can see. Okay, so yeah, this is the initial one, exactly. Yeah. This is Bello, Mr. Bello, Idris Adeji Bello, who said he had to man the booth when the booth was empty.
And he jokingly declared himself honorable
consular.
Yeah.
Anyway, after this, we then have an update of the manned booth. So compare that to this. You can see now they have the flag. They have that nice little Ashoke baby shirt.
These guys just brought things from their house. This guy decided to hang an Ankara, then the gift he bought for his baby or his baby's Ashoke up there. You can see the way the Nigerian flag was just hung. I mean, this is the culture of anyhowness we talk about. And then you compare this to Tanzania.
Look at that. I want to cry.
You have brochures, visit Tanzania. Yes. Compared to Sudan. Sudan is a war-torn country.
Oh my goodness.
Today as we speak.
Look at Eswatini.
Look at Eswatini. Tiny country. The entire Yaba is bigger than the population of Yaba is bigger than Eswatini. But look at them. I would call ourselves the so-called giants of Africa.
Very well
this
organized.
is war-torn Sudan. Sudan is currently facing famine. They have the highest number of displaced citizens in the world as we speak. But look at their booth.
So now let's go back to Nigeria's booth again. Having seen all these other countries, let's now go back to Nigeria's booth. This is the best that we could achieve.
But in fairness to Nigeria, the presidential handlers said, we're not here for optics. So it's not about flag and boots. We're here for strategic engagement.
There's Benin bronze on the table. We can see there that they see. Let's be honest. Look at the heads there, the Benin bronze. I can't see what's behind there, but it could have been better done. And when we call out things like this, when Nigerians call out things like this, it's not because Nigerians want to be funny or be mischievous. It's because we need to hold our representatives to the highest possible standard.
And we deserve better.
You're not there on your own accord. You're not there to make money for yourself. You're there to represent Nigeria. Every single person who's there representing Nigeria needs to be of their best behavior. And our booth, just like our airport, is the first interaction that many people will have with the country. If you go to Nikkei Art Gallery, the way Nikkei Art Gallery, all they should have even done, if they're not ready to do it, just hire Mommy Nikkei to come there and help you set up. Because Nikkei Art Gallery does a better job of representing Nigeria than a number of, functions have done. There we should have seen, like, I went there last week and I bought a brooch that says, I love Lagos. I had never seen that before. So the same way we travel to other countries, and when you go to other countries, a number of us, you have fridges in your house, fridge magnets that you pick from other countries. We should be able to have, you know, situations where people can buy those things and take to their houses. We can buy our Ankara. Ashoke has become a trendy outfit. We should have had our fabrics displayed.
You have marketing tools, or you have not tools is the wrong word. You have marketing materials that you use, pen, I love Nigeria, brochures, mugs and things like that. You have an embassy in Tokyo. I think we have a consulate in Yokohama too. These things should be present in embassies.
The banners, the wallpapers.
The president hasn't appointed ambassadors in 2 years, so maybe that's one of the reasons.
But like, I can imagine the things, in addition to all that we suggested, even some of the key projects that the government is working on. For example, the Coastal Highway, have pictures of that displayed. The area,
the National Mosque, you know, visit Nigeria. The
key places, tourist attractions, and then business opportunities that people there can see.
Forget that strategic engagement on government to government level, because at the end of the day, it's still people. I mean, do you know how much you could generate from revenue, from tourism revenue, by someone interacting with members of your booth and seeing things? I was in a Visit Uganda type of exhibition at Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos. I saw made in Ugandan coffee, made in Uganda tea.
You see?
They had a TV that was playing videos of Ruwenzori mountain resorts, their safaris and things like that. You could see the Ugandan flag properly displayed and all of that. That's the standard.
That's a fantastic suggestion. We have so many content creators that tell Nigeria's story in its most beautiful, authentic visual form. Get one of them that have documented Nigeria. They should put like a short 2-minute video on loop that keeps replaying so people can see the highlights. But when the government Warm Springs and all the key...
The government is so defensive and flippant in dismissing criticism and saying, look, this is not our business. We came here for strategic engagement. I think it's very disrespectful.
Let's see what the people on X think about this, if they have similar opinion or if they're very satisfied with the excellent booth that we've displayed. Nobuligwe says, the Nigerian booth says everything that is wrong with Nigeria, the loosely hanging flag, the lone tops and the makeshift setup. We demand respect from the world while showing none to ourselves. That last line. Jola says, see the booth, my brothers and sisters. See the booth that we waited to launch or whatever. Nigerians are in a deep and abiding romance with mediocrity and absolute nonsense. In the words of my faves from the East, Tufiakwa. Now, real Tufiakwa. Saga says, stop demarketing Nigeria. Then they proceed to demarket the country themselves. Well, these are all very valid.
Very ironic.
Maybe it's time we swallow our pride and beg Ghana to... I beg now. to come recolonize us.
Did Ghana colonize us?
I don't know which one is recolonized inside. We have never had it this bad. Someone says, you're late to the party. We even have Shoebi. So imagine what they could have done with this fabric.
I hope they return this top to the kid, the innocent kid that they borrowed it from.
Imagine what we could have done with that fabric when we have like Adire, Ashoki. We could have actually been able to sell them. Or maybe not sell, but at least.
You know the light at the end of the tunnel for me, the highlight is Nigerian private sector, Nigerians are supremely talented and have taken up the ambassadorial role themselves. So there's a way we can separate government from the people. They know we have this can-do spirit and spirit of excellence in entertainment, in big academia, in basically everything we do. And government needs to step up to the plate and do better. There are many government agencies that are doing fantastically well, but we need to get rid of this, anyhowness.
Lackadaisical, nonchalant attitude.
Yeah, I was at a Nigeria Launch a Digital Museum. So the Ife bronze heads, terracotta heads, that you go to a museum.
This digital museum, is it in Abuja?
No, it's online.
Okay.
So museum.ng.
Okay.
So they decided to, 3D mapping. You have a closer interaction with these figures, and you can interact with it anywhere in the world. That's from the National Council of Museum and Monuments. So great things are happening in silos, but we need
a holistic
look. Government is not government as usual. We're forward thinking. We've left that culture in the past and let it be the beginning of a renaissance. So we'll stop saying, you know, the Nigerian factor. Nigerian factor shouldn't always be negative.
Right.
Or
and just, I mean, feedback to the representatives, the government spokespersons. Nigerians are calling out what is seemingly referred to as bad behavior, nonchalance, and the lackadaisical attitude, not because we do not like the country. As a matter of fact, Nigerians love the country. We are passionate about the country. We want to be respected, not just at home, but abroad. We do not want to go to countries where they're telling us to stand aside because of the color of our passport and the color of our skin. We want to be able to command respect. But before we command respect, we must be able to give ourselves that respect. I really love the tweet by Nnamdi Azikiwe. You cannot ask people to treat you in a different way from how you treat yourself. It is the standard and the measure of respect you give to yourself that others will give to you. And we need to do better. We could have made the best out of that both. So people calling it out, a better approach should not be always to be defensive. It's okay to say, oh, we didn't plan for this,
we'll do better next
but we
time,
promised to do better. The dragging would have not been this much if they had just admitted and said, we didn't plan for this as much as we should have, and we take responsibility for our inaction, and we promise to do better next time. We will rest. So it's okay to take feedback. Feedback is not always about criticizing and tearing the government apart. It's actually about demanding better for Nigerians, for all of us, so that we can be proud of this country that we call home. And it is on that note that we will, let's see, I was thinking of taking one or two reactions. Okay, no, we have to go now.